All right. Anyways, what's going on, boys and girls, man? Me and Volkin were just shooting the shit after what seems to be a millennium since the last time we've done a podcast. We actually have some pretty like authentic things to talk about because me and him actually haven't caught up in quite a bit. I've got some notes down, but honestly, as usual, me and Volkin usually just shoot it from the hip and just get into it. We got some Gacha games we want to talk about pertaining to some of the Gacha games seem to be getting rid of Gacha in and of itself. I also want to talk about some of the upcoming games we might be looking forward to, such as Chaos Zero Nightmare, Do It Night Abyss, and then Blue Protocol, which is a couple of days away. And then, as usual, I'd like to start the podcast off talking with my best friend in the space about what the fuck he's been doing. Apparently, he's been hanging out with kangaroos in the forest, so we'll catch up on that. And then I'll catch him up on Gamescom in Japan, and then we'll get into the good stuff. But yeah, Volk, how are you doing, man? How's the camping life going? Catch us up. And how was the Starlink experience?
Yeah, so camping was sick. So I went away for 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days, whatever it was. It was the entire school holidays. We took the kids away. We got the 4-wheel drive all packed up, tent on the, like we were fucking sardines, man. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, the kids were like loaded with shit. They had stuff under their feet. Like, because we went away with 3 other families, and they all had camper vans, and we're like, no, we're doing the tent. And so when you're trying to cramp everything for 4 people for 2 weeks into a car, luckily we got the good roof racks. Like, it was tight as shit. If I remember, I'll edit in a photo I sent you of the 4-wheel drive once we had it packed up. But yeah, we were loaded, so we went away. Honestly, great trip.
Like, how long's the trip?
The drive, it was a 3-day drive to get to where we were going. In terms of not 3 days of driving. It was like, you know, because you got the kids, you're going to do stops and stuff like that. So I think,
of course,
we had 2 days of about 6.5, 7 hours of actual driving. And then you do an overnight stop. The overnight stops are the killer because you got to get everything off. You got to set up the tent. Then you got to, in the morning, pack up, get back on the road so you can get there, try and get there before dark. But yeah, it was about 3 days of driving. And so we went to...
Oh my...
Yeah,
I just want to say I've never driven anywhere for longer than a day. That is insane to me.
Yeah, it's good fun. Like, I enjoy driving and stuff, so it's absolutely fine. And then yeah, we because I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and we went up to South Australia, which is sort of up through the middle. There's some like some nice mountain ranges and stuff there that we went, and that was the idea. You go 4-wheel driving around them and stuff like that, and just camp and have beers essentially. So, dude, I tell you what, 2 weeks of camping. When you have beers every night, I was so keen to get home and get back into routine because, like, by 2 weeks, you just start feeling like you're not having like tons of beers, but you're having like, you know, 3-4 beers every night, and you just like your guts just start feeling like absolute shit.
It takes a toll on you, 100%, and then you feel, and you're a gym junkie like me, so you feel just like the biggest piece of shit on planet Earth.
It's so bad, but yeah, no, it was great. Like, it was literally, we didn't go anywhere. Normally, when you do those trips, like, you go somewhere with water, but this was just like in the middle, so it was basically just camping, 4-wheel driving. You know, like, the thing I love about it when you get away is like you get to get up in the morning. Like, you're always getting up early because my kids just get up early, and it's like we would just get up, we'd go find some kindling, you know, in the bushes, start a fire, cook your breakfast, and like you could making a coffee on the camp kettle on the fire and making your breakfast. Like, we were doing like toast on top of the fire, you know, whatever you're doing it on the fire, and you spend like 3 hours having breakfast. But it's like it's just enjoyable.
I have so many questions. Do you bring like garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper to like season anything, or you just fucking?
No, we're not that fancy, man.
Bro, you have my profound respect, bro. Holy shit. That's crazy. You know, I've never been camping, Volk. So for me, I'm like listening to your story, like with full undivided attention.
And so like we like before we left, the missus went through the process of getting all the meats, vacuum sealing them. We had the fridge in the car as well. So, you know, we had meat and stuff, but it's like, you're not getting the normal servings you normally get. And so we just had like cans of baked beans and canned spaghetti. And so like, if we had like a dinner or something and I was still hungry, it's like, just put the can on the fire, crack it a little bit, wait for it to bubble out, then you take it off, let it cool down, crack, you know, and then you're just eating with a spoon straight out of the baked beans and stuff.
Volk, I'm over here literally envisioning Dr. Stone. That's how like so far away from my lifestyle that is. Yeah. I'm like, bro's out there with Dr. Stone.
Dude, can I just say, that is a great anime. I love the way they go through the process of everything. Holy shit.
Oh, it's awesome, man. And so you would obviously have that dynamic with hanging out, going camping with the family. Oh, first of all, incredible amounts of a genuine QT, and then you were taking breaks and going over to the truck to make some content in between, right?
Yeah,
How was that, man?
It actually works so well, dude. Starlink's an absolute banger. The only problem is, like, I'm still playing Ethereal Restart. That game has a thing where you can't log in on satellite internet. So I didn't get to log in for 16 days. Because it wouldn't work.
Holy shit, your account is cooked, brother.
Yeah, so I'm waiting another 5 days so I can get the returning player awards. But yeah, for some reason that game, it would open the game and then I'd click log in and be like, check your connection to the server. And I've heard people say before that it's satellite internet has an issue. So that was cooked. But besides that, like, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it. Okay, let's just say there was a game that I'm doing a sponsor for. And I had to download the entire game. Like, I download the entire 30 gigs fine. Like, it all worked really well. It's about as fast as my home internet.
Out there.
Yeah, on my laptop. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
So yeah,
and you're in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was wicked. So honestly, Starlink, huge. It's like, for me, it's like 190 Australian dollars a month when you've got it active, and then it's like $10 a month when you've got it inactive. But it's like so convenient that, you know, the pocket in the side of your car door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have the Starlink and the cord in there, and then whenever I wanted
it's that small.
Yeah, and I'd just pop it out, put it on the dash, plug it in, and then away you go. Within 3 minutes, it's connected, and you've got internet.
Volk, send Elon Musk a DM and tell him to cut you a check for this, because you are selling the hell out of this Starlink right now.
Dude, it was fantastic. And so the other thing that I had, because we're away, like I've got dual batteries in my four-wheel drive, and I've got like the solar panel to charge it during the day. But for instance, one of the days when I was doing some work, the others all left and they took all the four-wheel drives. But I bought myself one of those big battery banks. They're like sort of like I don't know how to describe them. They're just like a big square, and you can essentially charge them off solar. So I sat there with this battery bank, which can run my laptop for probably 4 hours, but I'm charging it off the solar whilst having all my laptop and everything plugged into it. And I could just work for a full day just off of that on the laptop.
No, that is incredible, man. Because I think the most beautiful thing about what it's setting up for you is you now don't have that concern that not a concern, but the monkey on the back a lot of creators have, where we go, fuck, if I go away for 2 weeks, I can't get any work done. If I go camping, I can't do anything. You don't have that concern anymore. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's great. It was awesome. Absolutely wicked. Like, I didn't work as much as I would normally do, but it's like just to keep something up. It was fantastic. And you know, just keeping track, like, because I recorded some sponsors before I left, so I had to get them up while I was away. And so just having connectivity from the middle of nowhere when you would have no reception is insane.
You've sold me. I'm getting one of those fuckers, brother. I got the Cybertruck too to go with it. It's perfect, man. But
the cool thing is you can also use it while you're moving. So if you needed internet while you're driving, you know, like a 7-hour drive, we didn't do it, but you could just put it up on the dash of your car and just away you go. And then I can also take it overseas. I'm just adding to the sales pitch, you know. When I started researching it, I was like, dude, this thing is so fucking insane.
Yeah, and I've even heard, which I'm not sure it works well, we'll move on after this, that some people can even do it in the middle of the fucking air, like on a plane.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I got no idea.
It just doesn't work that well, I've heard.
I'm not that much of a bully yet, man.
I know, man. That's just crazy. I mean, most of these people are on fucking private jets and shit, though. I highly doubt it works on an actual airplane. But I wanted to move into going to Germany and Japan while you were gone and talk about how you only couldn't attend those events because you kept booking vacations at the same time.
Yeah, I said to the missus, I'm like, you know what? Next year, we're booking holidays a different time, because if these things come up again and I can go, I want to bloody go to these things.
Of course. And I was just going to say, like, they were incredible times, just as good, if not even better, than the Ethereal Restart trip me and you attended. Not to one up, but it was just great because it's like going to these different places. And it just put me in that perspective of me and Volk had a debate off stream a number of times about like how I hate traveling. He was like, I love traveling, man. He was like, I get some time away from the kids and the family, some time to myself, and plus you meet people, and like it's just overall a good experience. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I hate traveling. I love traveling now, bro. Like, this shit is awesome. It really is good, Volk, because as I'm on that plane, I'm catching up on animes because I'm so fucking busy that I haven't been able to watch. And I do finally come into that perspective of just like peace and alone time. Furthermore, when I'm in the hotel, I sleep butt ass naked. Nobody else is there. I'm just like, it's like the ultimate alone time, bro. It's great. But going to see Germany, that was the first time I've been there, and it was just a little bit of a culture shock, just how everything looked, how the train system was set up. and how people get around. A lot of people ride bikes and shit. It's very different from America. And then going to the Gamescom itself was fucking absurd, Volk. This place
Packed.
was as big as a mall, and it was still shoulder to shoulder. It was like unbelievable, bro. Yeah, like whereas Tokyo Game Show, it's like a tenth of the size and it's shoulder to shoulder. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of people we met. I went there for Honor of Kings World. That game looks amazing. And Duet Night Abyss, and then connect with a number of devs.
Yeah,
but
those are the two I had to turn down to to not go because I had holidays booked. Oh. Yeah.
And so like each of the times I'm out there meeting so many different creators, every time I'm always saying like, damn, I wish Volk was here, man. It's shit. Like that's my literal partner in crime isn't fucking here, dude. And so I have to literally be Smack and Volk. And Volk's usually the guy that connects everybody together, it taps everybody on the shoulder. I had to do me and his job on these fucking events.
That's great.
It's great fun though, man, and they all want to meet you, bro. So like next year, make sure your ass doesn't book these events, man.
Yeah. No, that sounds wicked. Like I said, I just think the opportunity, because like especially with what we do, like you obviously have your PT on the side, and you know you're training clients and doing all that, so you get to see like I see fucking no one. So going out to these things and like because I came from being an electrician where you're just seeing the boys every morning,
Isolated.
So being able to go out and actually meet people is just like it's just fun to connect with people essentially, especially in the same field as well.
And it's such a rare occurrence because you're out there with like you for once you feel like a teenager again. It's like the responsibilities are just put away for now outside of the obligations you're there for.
Oh yeah,
and we just drink our asses off.
Oh, 100%. Because I'm hopeless. Like my missus is the organized one. I'm unorganized as fuck. And like when you're trying to worry about the kids and all that shit, and then when I go away on one of those, it's just like I can just not care about anything and just like because I'm very much like. It'll happen if it happens. You know, I'm not stressed if something goes wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like, you don't have to worry about anyone else's experience. It's just yours. And I'm like, hey, I'm pretty chill. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean?
Out of curiosity too, Volk, have you been to Germany or Japan?
No, neither.
Oh, then we absolutely have to go next year. Both of them are pretty cool. They're both different though. The trains suck balls in Germany. Oh my God. And the train Japan are amazing. It's like two polar opposite experiences.
Yeah, because they use. I think I've said this before. I think I watched a doco where they used like the mushrooms or whatever it was to figure out the pathing of the Japan network.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember the whole thing, but yeah, it was really cool. Like when I watched the doco ages ago on how they actually did the Japan network.
No, yeah, it's incredible, man. But I think the biggest like takeaway from those trips are those like experiences once all obligations are done. You're hanging out with friends, and then meeting with devs. I've met a lot of devs when I've been on these trips.
Yeah, networking's huge.
It's amazing, man. And so I just wanted to touch up on that for a bit. Other than that, we'll go into Gacha right after this, guys. But I got fucking sick I'm still, you'll notice in this episode, I'm still coughing 3 weeks later. But like, this was probably the worst cold I had in my life, Volk. I've had many colds, but I've never lost my voice. I don't know if that's a thing with you. I've never, ever lost my voice. I lost my voice for a week and it just kept ramping up, bro. And I was just like, is this ever going to go away? Maybe this is bronchitis. I don't know what the fuck this is.
No, I always lose my voice.
I never tested if I had COVID or not. So it might have been COVID. Who the fuck knows? But I'm just happy to be recovering for that. And then that catches everything else up. If there's anything you want to talk about IRL before we get into the gotcha shit, let me know, Volk.
How's the second kid going?
Oh, dude, he's a little cutie, man. he's at that stage now where he just knows who you are when you show up, and he just does this.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And every time you just watch him smile, dude. It's great. He's literally healthy as a fucking a little sapling, man. And also, it's been great with him.
Sick name as well. That was a great name.
Ace.
Yeah, Ace. That's wicked.
Yeah, man. And she's turning into a little monster already in terms of like gymnastics and shit, bro. She's already doing like cartwheels, handstands, flipping over, and she's being a lot more of a smart ass too with her mouth.
Oh yeah. Well, as soon as they speak properly, it's game
but it's
over.
Adorable though. It's adorable
that's the problem,
though,
that's
bro.
That's the problem.
Yeah, man. Other than that though, your kid's doing all right, man.
Yeah, they're cruising. Like I said, we just had 2 holidays, so they can't complain. Yeah. But they will find a way to.
And again, ages 7.
No, well, my daughter had her birthday while we were away, so she is now 6, and my son's turning 8 in December.
8. Okay. Yeah. And the son is getting into sports right now, right? He's
Yeah,
doing his,
I'm coaching basketball this season.
Oh shit, bro! You gotta talk to the basketball guy over here, man.
Yeah.
What is he playing? What positions is he playing? Point guard, shooting guard.
So we're under 10, so it's still more. They're just playing man up.
Not really.
Yeah, there's nothing too serious. You're still doing absolute basics.
Yeah, right.
We only had our first training last night of the new season, so yeah, getting into it, And it's like one of those things. Like now, like on top of work, I've got to remember. Okay, we got to like make a drill plan for trainings on Monday nights now. You know what I mean?
yeah. You got to teach them the beef concept for shooting. You ever heard of the beef concept?
The beef, no.
It's balance, which means you're like square up when you shoot.
Yep.
The eye is eye on the target, and then the second eye is elbow in. A lot of people shoot like this, it's elbow in, and then follow through.
I've never heard it, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, you're talking to a fucking college basketball player, so like I could go off on all of that shit, but that makes me happy because it's like if you think about it, it's kind of rare out of all the sports to choose basketball. So when I hear basketball, I'm like, damn, what are the odds?
No, it's basketball's good because it's like you've only got like 7 kids, so it's really easy to manage. Our Aussie rules footy over here, I'm never coaching that because you've got like 20 kids and they just go nuts and it's crazy, man. So yeah, basketball's a good one to coach because it's a bit more manageable.
Last basketball question, we'll move on. Is he right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I was a lefty, but I was fucking unorthodox.
You should see him. He's absolutely obsessed. Like he's got his full Steph Curry outfit and he's got the sleeve and then like the legging as well. And so he'll rock up in his full Steph Curry like uniform with the right sleeve and the left leg. And he's just like,
awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, dude, that's great. Okay, well, all right, guys. Thank y'all if y'all still stuck around with me and Volt catching up IRL. I know this part of the segment of our pod is a lot of y'all's favorite, and so we try to keep that up for that relatability and for people who are interested. But with that said, I want to go into Blue Protocol, Chaos Zero Nightmare, and Duet Night Abyss. Blue Protocol comes out literally in 2.5 days. Chaos Zero Nightmare comes out on the 22nd, which is like 2 weeks from then. And then 6 days from that is Duet Night. But this is a loaded fucking month for Gacha gaming. Blue Protocol is an MMO Gacha game. And those two things usually don't mesh very well. That said, it's also the game that started it all for me and many other people. Volk is an OG in this gacha space. He's been around since Summoner's War and those old ones. But like many of us came along when Genshin Impact came out. But Genshin Impact was just the game that was supposed to be Blue Protocol, but Blue Protocol was fucking off. And so we're like, all right, well, this is the next thing around the corner. So it's kind of cool finally seeing this goddamn game that like kind of just, honestly, it's kind of responsible for Genshin's success. Yeah. It's finally coming out and I just want to try it just to see what it is. But I don't think I'll be able to play it probably longer than a month or two, to be honest, because MMOs for fucking adults with families and jobs is just, they don't work out.
Yeah,
Volk, what do you think?
MMO's tough, but it's like one of those things. It's like, and when you jump in, you go, wait, the marksman has a pet wolf, and I'm just like straight back to my WoW days of playing a hunter, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And the thing I like about it is like everything is action RPG at the moment. Yeah. Where it's like spam mouse clicks and stuff like that. Like you have buttons, but they're not the priority. And it just feels good getting back to like the old, like, cause I spent like 7 years playing WoW. The old, you got your keybinds. Now it is condensed on the keybinds. You can only have a certain amount. And so you're not having like, back when I played WoW, I'd have like 1 through 12, Q, E, R, T, F, G, V, C, Z, X. And then I'd have shift and control variations of every one of them. And it was like, you know,
too many buttons, bro.
But this is like, it's back to having like, rotations and skills that, you know, you press as opposed to the spam clicking, which, you know, it depends what you like more, but it just brings me back to those WoW days. But what I've seen is the gacha's not too invasive in terms of it's for those the pet type things that you can get, but you can farm them, but it takes years upon years to farm them. So I don't know how that balance will work, but for me, it's got no PvP. Which was like my favorite part of an MMO. But on the flip side, I guess I think that's going to be a good marketing ploy to a lot of people. And it's very guild heavy, co-op heavy, which is awesome if you can get all the boys together to do it. Like there's nothing better than getting all the boys and doing co-op and stuff like that.
And that, so like yours is PvP and MMO, mine has always been getting together with the boys and doing a raid and doing a boss fight and like working together and figuring out those little quirks of like, if you don't do it, you get one tapped. Watching that one dipshit in our party fuck up the damn raid text, and then we talk shit to him and laugh. That's my favorite part of MMOs. And so for me, I don't need to play the game for 3 years. It would blow my mind beyond like realms if it actually hooked me in like that. I just want to do all the raid fights in the beginning, have my fun, and then put more than likely, 95% more than likely, carry on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, for me in WoW, it was always 3v3 arena and raided battlegrounds. I only did raids when there was something I really wanted out of it. I remember this one time I had my shoulder operation, so I was at home from work for like I think it was about 5 weeks, and that was during the time. I'm just going real nerd here. I don't know if you remember when they had the Firelands raid in, I believe it was Cataclysm. And there was this staff you could get for druids that would turn your cat form into a flaming cat. And so I saw that. I'm like, I got 5 weeks here. I started a druid and then I got into a raiding guild just so I could try and get that staff. And I eventually got it. It was like the best thing ever. And like, it was so good.
No, it's the thing with me. I wish that's the one thing where I fail at relatability, because I played WoW, but I only played it literally like in the earlier years, and I never really got a chance to lock in. I had older brothers. Yeah, they would fucking hog up the PC and play all the WoW. I would watch him, but I barely got a chance to play myself. So it was one of those where I understood the love for it, but I can't even relate that much.
Dude, I had so many good times in those 7 years. It was well invested time into my youth, I have to say.
Yeah, oh no, I bet, man. Like I said, for me, it was Final Fantasy 11. That was the game that like took my life away. But that said, I think Blue Protocol has some really cool perks. I played the beta, and it looks pretty interesting. I love its exploration. It's like they've got some interesting extra exploration perks where, first of all, you don't have to fucking get to end game to get a mount. The mount kit it's given to you relatively quickly. You got like things like a quadruple and fucking, I don't even know what comes after quadruple. I have to think Halo, triple kill, penta jump. They got a penta jump in this game.
Is it Penta or Hexa? I can't remember. I always get those two mixed up.
Penta. I literally, my like go-to to remember that is shooting game. Like, what did they say? Oh, Penta kill. Anyways, it's got some cool stuff. Kill-tacular. Kilimanjaro.
That's it. Yeah, dude. Oh, Halo was wicked.
I want to keep this to an hour. Blue Protocol, I'm 100% giving it a chance. I feel like it'd be like almost blasphemy to not at least give the game a try. And that's not sponsored, by the way. I wish they would sponsor me for saying a quick little shout out in the pod, but yeah, it's not. Chaos Zero Nightmare. This game is a turn-based game coming out on the 22nd. It's got a bit of a spicy take in terms of what they chose to do, and that is the 50-50 system. I'd love to hear Volkin's perspective on it. That said, I played Reverse 1999 for a couple months. It's got a 50-50 system, and although I completely fucking hate the 50-50, Reverse was one of the few games that showed me they could have a 50-50 system and still supply ample resources and have a good palatable experience, as opposed to something like Genshin Impact maybe. But putting that aside, the game has got a very slick approach to turn-based combat because they have implemented in, if you're a fucking Magic the Gathering fan, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, fuck, if you're a Pokemon fan, they've implemented in a beautiful card system, beautifully woven into their combat. And I think that's kind of what intrigued me and Volk. Volk, what do you think?
Okay, so my take on Chaos Zero Nightmare is, if you've watched someone play it briefly and you're like, that looks shit, it's because you don't understand it. And like, if you play it for a little bit and start understanding the way it works, then watching the game will be like 100 times better, because it doesn't look great if you don't know what's going on and you just jump in and try and watch it. It's not flashy, you know, it's decently presented, but it's not crazy. But the magic is in the way it plays. It's like, I was chatting with you about this earlier. It's kind of like, because I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh player. Like, I used to do IRL events and stuff like that for Yu-Gi-Oh before I started Gacha games and stuff like that. So the way, like, each character has their own deck, and it's got like the roguelike system where you play through it and you can get different cards to add to that character's deck, essentially. And then when you make a team of 3, you get the 3 decks together. But the roguelike, you can keep playing through it, and you can target, like, say, getting one character's deck fully kitted out, and then it saves that deck for them. And then the next run, you can try and get a fully kitted out for the other character. And for comparison's sake, it's like, that's what you do to like build your decks for your characters. And then you go into the, like, quote unquote memory of chaos, like the end game, using those decks that you've built through the roguelike. So everyone's experience is going to be different. Like there's not going to be any like there will be a meta, like the best deck to get, but no one's going to be able to always get that deck. So everyone's experience is going to feel a little bit different. At least, that's the ideal word, the way you think it's going to play out. Who knows if it becomes a bit more streamlined when you get into it. But that whole idea of building a deck, and then it's like it's got cool card game stuff. Like you've got, I'm just going to call it the Graveyard and Banish Zone from Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's what I'm used to.
Lightsworn deck.
Yeah, and so it's like you've got interactions where sometimes maybe you get a card that lets you draw extra cards. You got a card. Some cards get discarded to the graveyard, and then you can get them back with other effects. And so for me, it's kind of like playing Yu-Gi-Oh against a boss instead of another player is the general feel that I get. And I just love that sort of system in terms of it feels like other characters will, and because I've been reading a lot of cards and stuff, some characters will have synergies with other characters. And I was saying to you, for any Giga nerds out there, it's like having a core deck style. I used the Lightsworn example from Yu-Gi-Oh, if anyone knows it, but you've got like a core archetype in the card game, and there's always another archetype that kind of synergizes with it. So, and that's what characters are kind of going to be. It's like you're going to have some that don't really mesh together, but other characters that mesh together. So it becomes like playing Chaos Lightsworn, and now you have two characters that really mesh together, and now you have interactions between their actions as well that work cool. And I don't know, I'm just a nerd in terms of playing Yu-Gi-Oh when I was, playing competitively, and the fact that it gives me that sort of feel, I really do like.
It's one, what you're pretty much saying though is like one of the most beautiful things about playing card games is actually before you even sit down and go against the opponent, it's just the theory crafting and the building with the decks. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, I can match this up with this. Oh shit. And then you play a couple hands, you're like, that worked. When you get that combo, that OTK or whatever the hell, that's the exciting thing that Volk is pretty much talking about in terms of the game. And
every game's different because you get a different starting hand.
Correct.
So that's one of the real enjoyments in card games is like in turn-based gotchas and stuff like that. Like it's fun, but like it's always going to be the same, and oftentimes it's like who's faster wins. Whereas this, it's like I get a different hand every time, and now it's like I'm sure you would know in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, okay, I've got this 2-card combo. If I get those two in my opening hand, I can get this board set up. It's kind of that sort of feel. Now it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like, okay, I get this one card in my hand, and I can do a 40-minute combo and set up a wall. And if they don't have hand traps, they lose. That I hate modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's at, man. I hate modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But
I was just about to say, I said, I'm about to pop off unless he throws out an ass blossom, then I'm fucked.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's one of those ones when any game comes out, you look at all like the awesome things and you get yourself hyped about it. I don't know how it'll iron out, or whether it'll be kind of like what Star Rail ended up being, where like MOC became kind of, like it was fun at the start and then it's like it becomes a drag. I don't know, but I think once again for any game, I'm always a big fan of play it for a week. If you think it looks half decent, if you're still enjoying it, keep playing it. Once you stop enjoying it, quit. Who cares?
I couldn't agree more. That's the nature of the gacha business. They are free games. That's where I will defend them on the free game aspect. You have your fun with it for 2 weeks, move the fuck on. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens with it. But there's also some pretty some like weird aspects of the game that I think are probably going to be a bit different for some people, which because I want to make sure we're also talking about some of the concerns. The games, like, I don't know. And you let me know if you were feeling this as well, Volk. The games like events and shit were kind of like very gacha sloppy. Like you're just like going into a cat place to pet a cat. You're going to like I don't know, they were pretty fucking weird. I was just playing them and I was just like, I can already see myself getting irritated with this by like day by day.
My thought is it's more of a, because it's the guys that did Epic 7, it's got more of like what I consider like an old school gacha games event structure where where basically I feel like the game is being carried by the game, and then the events are just something to give you rewards. Whereas in your Genshin Wuthering Waves and stuff, it's like the events carry the game.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say they carry the game, but they're a lot more prevalent for sure.
They're as like, opposed to like a major part.
It's like, okay, I guess I'll knock this shit out.
Yeah, whereas like in like the Genshin Wuthering Waves stuff, it's like I feel like the events are something meant to be super engaging to add to the enjoyment of the game. Where in these games, it's just a way to give free stuff, and the core game is sort of more the focus.
what you're going for. No, that's fair. That's a beautiful way to put it.
That's just kind of the way I see it. It's kind of like, we can actually touch on the topic of games like removing the gacha altogether, because you mentioned
that's
the 50-50.
What I was going to go into next.
Yeah, because you mentioned the 50-50. And like for me, because I play everything free to play, I just don't care. Like I am absolutely loving Raid at the moment, which is probably the most predatory. You got no chance of getting what you actually want to get except when they do events. But it's like when you play free to play, it just becomes the whole game is a roguelike and you've got to use what you get. And that's what I always loved about Summoners War back in the day. And then I think it was probably around Genshin that brought in this new model of everyone wants to get absolutely everything. And if you're not getting what you want, you're getting pissed off. And I like it the other way, where you've got giga massive rosters. And whatever you get is something that is unique to your account. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I still enjoy that system. So for me, it's never really bothered me. But I feel like where the gacha space is getting to is everyone wants everything. And I also think if you're a spender, it's a different scenario because you're spending money. So you want to get something for what you're spending. You want to know what you're getting. And so I think when you spend, you get more... Not in a bad way, but you have entitlement being like, okay, I've spent $100. Give me that fucking character. And if you don't get that character, you're really pissed. And I completely get that. But that's why I just play everything free to play and I just find it way more enjoyable. And I don't care about those things.
I feel like what you're saying is completely reasonable. I think the gacha space, and I'm one of the people who's always pushed for this, so clearly I'll be on the other end of the spectrum. But I think the gacha space in its entirety would just be better off without the 50-50s. I think that's like bottom line what everybody's perspective is. If you remove them entirely and you're doing 100% guaranteed, if you remove gacha entirely, then it just upgrades from gacha game to just mobile game. Which the only problem in mobile games will be how they're
not even a mobile. Like this is the whole thing with Genshin, with Wuthering Waves. These were games that I don't think ever were intended to be gacha games. They just did that to get into an audience and make large amounts of money. But if you look at the model of the games, they're not mobile games. They're PC games. Like who the fuck's playing that on mobile? You know what I mean?
They're mobile games. They're mobile games. I'm talking about and let me clarify. Mobile games in terms of there's no real content in a mobile game. It's like you do a story, you do a couple events, you wait 80 damn weeks for the next patch. That is a mobile dynamic. I don't know how we would even separate that, honestly.
So I think what I'm looking at is more of the style of game, like an open world action RPG game. For me personally,
that is not mobile. I agree.
That's not a mobile type game, but they put it into the mobile format to monetize it heavily. Yeah. And
yeah, sure.
And that's essentially what you get. To me, the gacha games were originally like your turn-based games with auto mechanics, your idle games and stuff like that. And the whole idea to me was, and once again, this is just my interpretation, was that the mobile game was more that game where you're someone who doesn't have time to sit at your computer and play a game the whole time.
Correct.
So you're doing these auto type games so that you can feel like you're progressing, you're doing that sort of stuff. And then if you have absolutely no time, you're spending money to cut out on the time that you can play. And that's kind of like how I viewed the mobile game, gacha game dynamic. And then we went into Genshin, which was a game where it's like, you know, you're sitting there, you're playing it. It's like a full gaming experience. And that had gacha. And then it lacked content. And it was like this weird blending thing that happened where the monetization model was so strong that everyone wanted to use it to make the money. And then you're making these games that feel like they shouldn't be mobile gacha games. They should just be standalone games like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. But then you want to keep the cash cow rolling. So you make it so that they can explore something once every month or 2 months or whatever it is. And that keeps the players in and keeps the money rolling, as opposed to making a standalone game that people play through once and then sort of push to the side. And that's kind of the dynamic that I've seen in myself, like from those games. If that makes sense. They don't feel like mobile accessible games, but the mobile's there so they can monetize in that way.
It's funny because I think you've nailed everything you said perfectly, but I still think it's semantics at the end of the day. Like I feel like if you remove gacha from gacha games, they're more close to a mobile game than a traditional game or any other game out there. Like you said, mobile games are like a way for you don't have a lot of time. That's literally a gacha game as well. Every game me and you've played in the mainstream space, that applies to those as well. The auto thing is the only thing I would say where it deviates. That would be like the nuances of it. Auto shit doesn't really exist in these type of games, which kind of makes them more tailored to like a traditional gaming experience. But I think if we just define what a mobile game is, Volk, it's pretty much
a game you can play on your phone.
With a game you can play on your phone. Yeah. Well, and I would say heavy microtransactions, event slop, and then a way for you to have a half-ass in-game experience with story updates. And I feel like all of those check off as well in a gacha game as well. Yeah. Except there's gacha as well. You know, it's
so I think another thing that made me have that impression was like a lot of these games are now story focused. Where I was used to in your mobile gacha games, story didn't matter at all. Like no one gave a fuck about it. You were just there to progress. You know what I mean?
Yep, you're right.
But yeah, like I said, for me, 50-50s, I personally don't care, but I think any game coming into the market now has to consider what the competitors are doing. One, either removing the 50-50 or two, removing gacha altogether. And you've got to understand that that's probably going to set some people back on your game if you still have the old 50-50 system when people, the market is getting used to a new standard, if that makes sense.
And you know what's funny is setting aside like our differentiating opinions on the topic. Absolutely right. It fuck me and you. It's like the community is over the 50-50. And so like if you come in with a new game with a 50-50 system, the community is and I actually I think this is a really good topic to get into, Volk. The community is over it because for one, you could say a part of it's a bratty perspective. Two, it's like what I think 50-50 is just shit. But three, it's like we're already playing games with 50-50s. We're already contributing our time to pre-existing games. Why the fuck should I play your game too? It's like you're not offering me an incentive to really give your game a shot in your game's niche. And that's like, ooh.
The one thing I will say about Chaos Zero is it's a completely new playstyle for any gacha game that we've seen. That's its big draw card. You know what I mean?
The card system,
when we talk about that game specifically.
That's beautiful. So then there we go. Like, there's a little incentive that deviates, but like, I think that's the biggest problem. It's like people, when a new gacha game comes out, because they have such shit reps, people are always thinking, what are you giving us that the other games ain't giving us? Or how is your edge up in the microtransaction? And like, if your game ain't like rippling the fucking space the way Ananta did, like Ananta exploded. And I'll be honest, I actually still think Ananta is just GTA, and I will never understand the insane hype for GTA. I'm able to get excited about elements of a game that I know is going to make waves. But if you ain't got the juice like that, if you ain't got the torch, I don't think you have it in you or in your game to be putting a 50-50 in there today in 2025.
Can I just make one side note on that? Some videos do shit when there's no 50-50. No one gives a shit because there's no excitement at all. Like it becomes just, you're just saving up. You're just playing more of a numbers game at that point. There's no excitement.
And I think Volk, like all things in life, there's good and bad things to killing a thing. Like if people are like, gotcha, fuck gotcha. But there are good elements of gotcha that are dopamine instilled and enjoyable. And that was one of them. Watching people lose a 50-50, watching the rush of the shit. But it's like, at the end of the day, I guess you're weighing the scale on what is worse and what's better, you know?
100%. And like I said, because I play everything free to play, the gotcha side of things never bothered me because I just play, like I like in a game playing with what I get and making the most of that. Whereas if I'm spending money, you don't want to be like spending $100 and not getting the thing that you're wanting to get. That's just a fucking kick in the dick. And that's where I think games will have to evolve to that point when that is the standard that's getting set now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it goes back to what you said earlier. You're making your account unique is a beautiful thing. And that's something that is a positive element of like playing something like Raid. But I think there's a lot of people out there that also play traditional games who are fucking just absolute completionists. And they want to master every single class. It's like when I play Diablo, I don't want to be confined to one or two classes. I want to try every single class and see which one works for me. But that said, to go with your perspective, if you play an MMO, there could be 16 classes in that MMO, but you might be lucky to play 2 of them. So it's like there's going to be ways the game will restrict you. Yeah, well, like it depends. Like at that time of your life. Yeah, that's fair. When we were 17, sure, but I'm 25 responsibilities. I will say Volkin's argument holds true because at Blue Protocol, I'm not playing 10 classes. I don't give a fuck how cool they are. I only have time for like 1 or 2 classes. And so I think that holds some merit to what you're saying.
I think in the MMO aspect though, it's always fun like getting good at a class And then
Yeah,
it's kind of like even like card games. Like I'll probably be the same case on Zero Nightmare. Like I used to love playing a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh for like a month and getting really good at it, learning the ins and outs of how it counts as different things and stuff like that. So it's just also the type of player that you are.
Sure. And with that, Duet Night Abyss is coming out on the 28th. Since we were talking about this whole gacha dynamic, it was the first game to big dick swing the no gacha. But I also, there's some good talking points on this because other people felt like what I was mentioning earlier, the space it's steep with competition. And people feel like, well, if they would have tried to do the gacha thing, it wouldn't have worked out anyways, which I think is a fair criticism to apply to it. But I mean, at the end of the day, gacha games, they do work in this space. That said, they removed it entirely. But my question is now, gacha companies have a way of convincing you their games are for your best interest. And like, you know how it is. Like, you know how it is. My thing is, how are they going to add, because it's going to happen. I guarantee it's going to happen. How are they going to add in microtransactions, which is the only fucking thing that separates gacha from mobile, in my personal opinion. Yeah. How are they going to add in these microtransactions to get you to spend your money? It's going to happen. It's going to happen in Blue Protocol. That is the main thing I feel like gacha players aren't taking into equation, and y'all jump to the gun and go, oh my God, game amazing, support the devs, this and that. I agree, but to an extent, there's also some caveats because there's some mobile games out there with no gacha that are worse than gacha games. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like Ananta is going to be the big one. Like if that thing launches in launch month, it doesn't make 80 to 100 million. Like it's like no one's doing no gotcha again. Like you know what I mean though? Like because that's all they care about is the money. So like they've got to have a model in mind that they're going to make a shitload of money without gotcha. Otherwise, they're not
correct.
Because you're not running that live service.
GTA has PvP, and we're not sure Nanta's going to have PvP, and that was a big part of the spending in GTA, the PvP experience. And I don't think they haven't confirmed it in Ananta, so that means their model's going to have to take into consideration a peer PvE cooperative experience with no PvP.
Yeah, and so like I see a lot of like I always see the argument of but like Fortnite just sells skins and they make squillions of dollars. It's like that's because of the player base. I'd be curious to see. It's the amount of players. You know what I mean? Like if you've got
what's
skins
also PvP though.
Yeah, no. But what I'm talking about is player base versus it's like spend per player is what I'm talking about. So if a gacha game launches and they only sell skins, but it's got a fraction of the player base, it's not going to make the money. So I think what I'm curious to see is how they make, like what they make in terms of revenue per player compared to the gacha model, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. But I think that's one element we're not that you probably didn't just consider is how they've no gacha, but pay to progression is still very much firm. Or pay to like convenience is very much firm. And that's where the real money comes in. Case in point, Duet Night Abyss might say there's no gacha, but you get to a wall where you're like, fuck, I need more resources to like pull on this character or something. You go to the shop, it's in the shop. It's the same thing as Ethereal Restart, right? Like
you know what becomes more enticing as you play. Do you know what would be like full circle is like run out of resources, watch these 3 ads. That would kill me. If they like honestly, I would take gacha every day of the week over having the watch these ads, and then you get those stupid little ads that are about a game that don't even look anything like the game, and it's like, oh my God.
I mean, the perfect fucking reference
the Candy Crush model.
The Candy Crush model too, but I was gonna say World of Warcraft, the one that was on the phone. Was it World of Warcraft? No. Diablo Immortal. It was Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal. It's like, dude, that game was the worst fucking game in terms of trying to progress, bro. Like, you want to do another dungeon? $30. It's like, bro.
Dude, I remember. So this is an interesting one. Do you remember the guy that was on like Asmongold covered it and stuff like that spent like $100,000 or whatever, and he spent himself out of being able to play PvP because there was no one at his bracket, so no one couldn't. He spent so much that he couldn't play PvP.
I didn't even know that actually. No,
it was the thing. Anyway, the guy, his name's JT's All Business. He's an absolute legend because back, like, I don't know if Tectone wants to reflect on these days, but when we were playing Skylanders Ring of Heroes, JT came in there and he'd been doing YouTube for ages and stuff like that. And he's sort of the one that taught us about all the back end stuff, you know, that you can actually make money on YouTube and stuff like that. I remember sitting in a call with him and Tectone. He's just like telling us all this stuff, like going through all this shit. And he was just like a great guy. Like, and that's what made me, like, anytime a creator asks me anything, I just tell them everything I can because like that's what he did for us. And
That
it was
impact
like,
changed
that
your
was,
life. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like he was the one that like started the whole train of that for me.
That's beautiful. No, I get it. But like, it's like that is. Wait, hold on. Where were you going with that, by the way?
It was just an interesting tangent that I got to. So yeah, back to
First of all, it was a very interesting tangent. I appreciate you sharing it. I just was trying to make sure I was bouncing back.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how microtransactions can potentially be worse than Gacha. And I thought that was something that was important to like point out as we're going through this big wave of the whole no Gacha or Gacha's dying. Don't think just because Gacha is dying that these developers and publishers are going to like give you a better gaming experience, because it could very well be a one-to-one. It sounds good at first, but we'll have to wait and see. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, and it's like, are you trading out the Gacha side for a mundane grind that you've got to do for 12 hours a day to get that character?
I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like,
that was the one thing I was looking to say. Thank you. That was it. That's the nail on the head.
Because the thing with Duet Night Abyss, and I said this to you after the first beta, I'm like, that was a really cool dungeon playthrough, but it's all manual, and it took me like 15 minutes per run to get some leveling resources. And I'm like, how does this become a fun game loop? It's fun once, but if you're repeating that over and over and over a day, and now they've removed Gacha, and now that's how you get characters, I'm assuming is going to be a grind. Is it like, would you rather just like have a Gacha and maybe miss every second character so that you could play? And when we were talking about mobile games, that's the one thing that like the Genshin Wuthering Waves model has done, is they limit the content you need to do so that you can just do your quick little dailies and feel like you're not missing out on much. But now, if you remove the Gacha, are you then to get a character? Are people going to get less characters because they can't grind that time that's required, and then they're going to have to spend the same amount of money anyway to get the characters?
There you go. I was going to say, no, that's going to point them towards the shop. They're going to be like, fuck that grind. And then it's going to be, in the shop, like, well, you can get it now for $10.
Yeah, you can get anything you want. After Slash played 300 hours, or you can get it now for a cheap $20.99.
And that is the microtransaction gotcha fucking model there. That's a gotcha. You know, it got your ass, didn't I? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our selling point was no gotcha, but we still got your ass.
Yeah, so I think they're definitely going to make money, and I'm just genuinely curious to see how this plays out, because I feel like these few games doing it, it'll either work out and players will love it and it'll be a success and they'll still make money, and then that's what we'll see moving forward, or option B is players will hate it because it's too much of a grind now, and then they'll go back to the banner system, or it just won't make the money and they'll go back to the banner system. So either players love it and they make money and it continues on, or one of those other two fail and they go back to Gacha. That's kind of the way I am forecasting it, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
I feel like we covered it thoroughly, and you know what the best part about all of it, Volk? No matter how it unfolds, I'm covering that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. It's just really interesting when you've had like such a strong set model that the games are actually named after, and you get it removed. It's like, what's gonna happen? Like I said, the beauty of these games, and once again for me, playing them free to play, is I have no attachment. As soon as I'm bored, I move on, and I feel no guilt about it. People like say, "Oh, he's just going to leave this game." No shit. If I'm not having fun, I'm not playing anymore. And that's the thing with Gacha games that's crazy is like, I feel like especially since like the Genshin release and stuff, it's like that whole you've got to be that game.
Tribalism.
Like the tribalism. I couldn't think of the fucking word. I had a brain fart.
It's all right.
The tribalism thing is like crazy to me, because it's like, did I have tribalism when I was going to the market every Sunday and buying 9 burnt games for my PlayStation or Xbox that I had chipped and just playing them, finishing them, and then going to the next one? It was like there was no... That didn't exist, because you just play it for the time you had fun. You'd remember and go, that was a fun experience, but I'm moving on to the next thing. And I feel like people struggle to do that with a gacha game, because once they stop having fun, they force themselves to keep playing it. And then once they finally quit, they're like, I hate that game anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't you enjoy it for what it was and then just move on and have fun? Like, I know there's a lot of people that can do it, but you just see a lot of the other side as well.
I agree. There was a speculation and a big theory going around in the overall gaming sector, where they were looking at demographics of gamers, and they were saying that there's been a huge addition to gamers that are just like normies and people who don't really play games, and they fell in love with one game, and it actually became a bit of a movement. And so now the issue is we deal with it a lot in the gacha space, but what we didn't realize, even outside the scope of the gacha space, there's a lot of people now that exist as gamers who aren't even gamers. They just love one game. And so it's like at the minute that game dies, their gamerhood dies. And that's a problem we deal with now in the space, because if that becomes the majority, it's like, fuck, bro, what can you do? You're now the minority and you are the actual gamer. It's like, you're fucked. But I was looking at a statistic, Volk, and I have the website. I can pull it up, where it said like back in the 90s, totality of gamers worldwide was 200 million. Today in 2025, totality of gamers is 3.5 billion.
I mean,
and so it's like
I would say phones are a big part of that. Yeah.
No, that is it. Volk. No. That was the biggest thing. The asterisk. It was like, note that this statistic includes playing video games on your mobile phone. That's literally what it said.
Yeah.
But regardless, that is like the realm we're going into. And so if you're dissatisfied with mobile gaming, I hate to break it to you, buddy, that's the future of gaming.
Yeah,
because that's where
it's like those statistics are weird, because it's hard to like quantify 100%. Because like my missus has Gabby's Dollhouse on her phone for that one time my daughter played it. And it's like, she's a gamer.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I still though, but you think about it, back in the day, that didn't even exist.
Oh, 100%.
So I think I still think it's a valid metric, just because, well, nobody even did that shit back then. And now adults are more interested in games now more than ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, accessibility is the huge thing there. But but yeah, is there anything else you wanted to touch on the?
I have a number of topics.
Okay, I meant on that topic we were on.
Oh no, I think we literally encompassed it pretty thoroughly. I would say
I think whatever your view is on Gacha, 50/50s, 100%, no Gacha at all, I think it's just going to be exciting to watch what happens with all these games over the next 6 months to a year. I think it's going to be a really enjoyable experience
too. Yeah. I think everything you said, there was no fault in it. There was no wrong in it. I think everything you said was fucking perfectly valid. Like, if there are people out there that can play a gacha game and enjoy the experience of making decisions and then seeing how those decisions outplay in terms of your account value, there's a value there. There's an enjoyment there. And I think that's okay. It's
everyone's different. Like I always say with everything, I'm in the minority in a lot of my views on how I enjoy gacha games, because like I like forever I was the PvP guy and everyone's like, fuck PvP, it ruins gacha games, it's pay to win. I'm like, yeah, but I'm free to play and I don't care, I just want to compete, it's a bit of fun, you know? But let's move on to the next one.
It's the next one. And we probably won't spend much on this because I feel like these are just two games you cannot be fucked with, Volk. But it's Neverness to Everness, which is, I feel like, getting fucking put in the dirt by Ananta. And then there's Arknight's Endfield. Both happen to be announcing early, not an actual date, but that they're releasing early 2026.
Yep. Endfield, I'm more interested in.
Me too.
I think I've said this before. I actually liked the early build of Endfield more than the new one.
Same. Me and you were in the same agreement.
Like, everyone hated it, but like I liked that it was more of a strategy type game, whereas now it's gone more back to the whole just action RPG, which
trying to copy these main games.
It's been done too like, I wanted something different, but like obviously it's got the base building, which I don't know if that's going to be enjoyable or not. I didn't play the beta because I've got to apply to it.
Hit or miss.
But yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to test it out and see, because it is a little bit different, but I'm just shattered that it went from the old way that it played to the more action RPG style.
I want to add to that thought process. I finally got to play the game. I never played any betas, never got invited to any. I finally played the fucking bloody game in Germany. I met the guy behind the game, the community manager named Fox, great guy. And he allowed me to play it for about 35 minutes. And I was playing the game and I was impressed. It looked like your typical like next evolution of an open world game, which I know me and you are like, I think a lot of people are kind of just like, oh, fuck, another open world game. That it did give off that, but it just looks so good. But I was interested in the traversal system, because how you set up that building, which I think is going to be a hit or miss, is how you're going to be able to traverse the map conveniently. As you build more and more things, you'll just be able to like get on those hook lines and go to where the fuck you're going. I think that's pretty cool. I just don't know if it's going to work with everyone. But the part that I was going to talk about is what you said. They changed their original model, which pisses me off, because it's like, I know that was the identity the developers had in mind for their game, and it will work if people give it time. But This is a devs listen moment. That's a bad devs listen moment. You listen to these fucking fuckwads who don't know what they actually want out of video games, and you try to tailor your game to what they want. And I played the game. This said, I'm being completely honest with no vitriol or anything. I was doing basic attacks, and I just felt useless doing the basic attack because of the game's intricacies. I was just like, why the fuck do you have a basic attack in this kind of game? It's like the skill and the ult seems so much more important. The way the game functions, like swapping the characters, I feel like you could just take the basic attack outright and just have an auto attack when you're close to the mob, like an MMO. It made no sense to me, but I was telling him, I was like, I feel like y'all added this in here literally off of community feedback, and I think it's the dumbest fucking thing he did. I just told him straight up, bro. And I was like, you know what? When the game comes out, I mean, you guys have, and here's the thing, Volk, they have a lot of people looking forward to that game. I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you guys had a better fucking setup before than you did now. And I think maybe you could have tweaked some things to make it a little bit more appealing. But I don't like this current model. Maybe that's just a hot take for me. And so I had the same thought process as you.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people are used to action RPGs, so a lot of people wanted what they were familiar with. They just wanted a fresh take on it. But for me, I was like looking at it because I saw a lot of people complaining.
We got plenty.
And once again, I didn't play either, so this is just based off of watching it. But I like that idea when you had like more of a top-down view of your characters. When you clicked one to do something, it would like slow down the time, and then you'd get to like. I thought that was different and interesting, whereas now it's like back to the normal.
And it's like, so y'all just want the exact same fucking game we've always been playing. It's like, and here's the thing, this is it's a popular saying where it's like gamers don't know what the fuck they want. So you listen to people who don't know what they want, and those same people are gonna say your game shit when it comes out. These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about, bro. And so that's why it's important.
But by that same logic, we don't know what we want.
No, I actually disagree. I disagree. I always know what the fuck I want. I'm talking about the vast majority of people. No, seriously, Volk. This is the part where people would think that's like an ego or like arrogance. What I'm telling you is I'm speaking in terms of the vast majority of players. But there's a lot of gamers, not just me and you, that do know exactly what, or they either know what they want or they know the identity of the game and why it should stay that way. Basically, there's people with fucking common sense, but the vast majority of people ain't got no common sense, and they just bitch and whine about things without actually knowing why they are bitching and whining. And that is the problem.
But the one thing I will say is there will be people who genuinely wouldn't like the old gameplay, and they would like the new gameplay. Like there are,
and that's okay.
It's kind of like how I don't mind having no guaranteed, no 50-50, and just playing it as a roguelike and just using what I get. A lot of people would hate that. I enjoy it. Everyone's a little bit different in that aspect. But yeah, I would have loved to see the game do something a little bit different because it is going to be a big competitor, kind of like Chaos Zero Nightmare. Like, I was blown away once I dug more into the actual system of the card game system, because we've had card games before, Reverse 1999, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, where it's just the matching system. But this is like next level, bringing it to like almost a Yu-Gi-Oh style that gives you a new gameplay standard. And I think it's like those new gameplay standards that really hook people in. It was like Arknights, normal Arknights. No one had done a tower defense gacha. And that was like, and that's still going really damn well. Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross.
That's my point.
Was the first one of those card matching games, and it took off, and it's still doing really well. So it's like all those games that have like sort of, they're like a fresh take on something, seem to do really well for a long term. Genshin, we hadn't had a gacha open world action RPG of that quality by any stretch. The only thing you had was those shitty MMOs that, you know, they rinse and reskin all the time. And so that's done really well. And I feel like that's the kind of system. And I thought Arknights could have done that with a bit more of a new combat system to refresh. But now it feels like it's a direct competition to Wuthering Waves, Genshin, and all that, because it's like kind of that exact model.
Well, I feel like you
obviously
literally just supported my argument there.
I was just talking. I don't even remember your argument.
My argument was the devs have an identity in mind. Stick to the fucking identity, because at times that you know your model better than the gamer who's trying to give you stupid ass feedback based off a game they enjoyed. And it's like, okay, I understand you enjoyed that game, but those devs have an identity in mind, and they've spent way more hours on it than you have. And so it's like, if you were to listen to somebody who loves like PvP games to go and ask for PvP inside of your game, that from the get-go you said there won't be any PvP, and they were to listen to you, it would probably collapse because they already did the due diligence on how it's going to function.
Yeah.
And so like
kind of like Star Rail would have never functioned with PvP because it just couldn't have been balanced.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I played a game called Wild Hearts, and I watched devs listen too much to the community, and it burned the game to the ground.
Wait.
And it's like they were trying.
Wild what?
It was called Wild Hearts, and it was the only game to ever give Monster Hunter competition.
Okay, I was thinking Wild Star, which was an MMO that I loved back in the day.
Not that either. Not that. But I mean, I've seen a number of times beautiful games with beautiful systems, and the developers keep listening to community feedback, and it just burns the game into the ground because you're not even making your game anymore. You're making a game that the community wants, and they don't even know what the fuck they want. So it's like they're like, oh, you got to buff this class and nerf this class. It's too overpowering. So they kept listening to everyone, and then eventually their game just didn't even have an identity no more. And to like finish that off earlier, you were like, well, some people are going to like that. And it's like, that's the whole beauty of staying true to your identity. Fuck the people who don't like your game. It's okay. That's not for them. And that's okay. That's how Souls likes broke out into the mainstream. They stayed true and stood on business so long that even people who don't like Souls-like games are playing them purely off of the, damn, you got to see this. These games are awesome. You know what I mean? So like, I'm a firm believer in stay to your fucking model, bro. Like, and if it fails, at least you know that model was something you intended.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's more it's not the question of will people enjoy it. It's the question of what was the design, and does changing it to cater to what other people want break the whole fundamental design of your game that you had from the get-go that you built everything around. And I completely agree.
In an oversaturated action RPG space, it's like, God damn. Like I know, me and you both, we're over the action RPGs, bro. It's like, God, like Azir Familia, the most interesting thing about it is everything but the combat.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, once again, back to the original thing is, you'll play any of those for a week and have an absolute blast of a time.
You're right.
But as soon as you get through all like the progression is when it really starts to like, okay, let's move on to the next one and see what happens. Or go back to that other one that I was playing.
Digimon. Volk's a massive Digimon fan, guys. You probably already know it. I have just, every time I open my Twitter, it's some fucking guy just glazing the living hell out of Digimon. Furthermore, Digimon got them thick mons. I've seen some hot mons in Digimon. I didn't even know that was a thing, bro. That's the other thing I've been seeing on Twitter. They keep showing these hot chicks that are Digimon. What the hell? But I want to play the game. I've now added it to my bucket list because every single review about it, even like the critics, are giving it like very high reviews, very high praise.
The game is Digimon Storytime Stranger. That's the game.
Go ahead. I know you want to say something about it.
It went into like a beta on Steam. I can't remember how long ago. I was too busy. I was so gassed for it. I wanted to play it, but I was just flat out and I didn't get to play it. But I watched all the reviews. Everyone reckons it's an absolute banger. It's kind of like turn-based, kind of like Pokemon, but like it's Digimon and it's... Well, I mean, Digimon have had a bunch of their own turn-based games in the past. I used to love Digimon World Dawn and Dusk and the original Digimon World on the Game Boy Advance or the DS. I can't remember which one they were on. Me and my brother used to play those an absolute shitload. And the way with Digimon, how you have the split evolution lines and you go through it, they were really fun games. And what I'm thinking it's going to have is that sort of system. But when you look at it side by side with new Pokemon games, it's just like, this is what Pokemon needs to be looking at to advance their games. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. And to me, Digimon, hot take, Digimon should have been bigger than Pokemon. It just didn't get marketed well, and they just fumbled the ball early days. Because I feel like some of the characters you get in Digimon are so damn cool. You actually give like armor to characters, you give them weapon. Like, it's just that it's like the more mature version of Pokemon, and you're not turning an ice cream into a Digimon. Actually, they've got poo Digimon. I'm going to shut up on that topic, but they got some fucking cool Digimon is what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it looks wicked.
I was gonna say it's that's what we brought it up for, because I know you love Digimon. Not only that though, there was this fucking meme on Twitter where they were like the Digimon devs realizing they could have been making 80 times the profit on this model if they would have just been making more, because it's been a long time since you've seen a Digimon game, and this shit is popping off, hitting Steam peaks and everything like every day, and they're like, this guy, or he's like,
did you ever have the little Digimon themselves?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Did you used to do the cheat where you press the button and push thing in and out, and you get like a we used to do that. Oh, dude, I loved Digimon, and so I've been debating internally in my own head, because I bought for $300. I bought the box set of the first 6 seasons of Digimon, and I've watched. We've watched 4 seasons so far with my son, and my daughter watches a little bit as well. And I'm like debating, like I want to get him one, but I'm like, I don't want to get him one at the same time because they're so fucking good. Like, and like, I want to get him and me one, get my daughter one, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to be the responsible parent, and I'm not going to push my son down the Digimon path. But, dude, I love this kind of shit, dude. Digimon was so good, and there's another thing I'm really excited about, which is, dude, I need to turn my aircon on. I'm fucking cooking in here.
Yeah, that's why we're getting amped. It happens to me.
I'm getting amped up, and I'm like, fucking the blood's boiling, man.
No. That's why I turned my fan on.
So, like, I love playing card games. My son loves card games. We play Yu-Gi-Oh! We play Pokemon. And probably a year ago, we went out and we all bought a deck for Digimon, the card game. And I really like the Digimon card game. And they're actually doing Digimon Elysian, which is kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Not Duel Links. What's the... Duel Master. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Master, which is just based... Yeah, it's like that, but Digimon card game. And I'm so jacked for that as well. That's going to be fun as well.
I didn't know that was going to be a thing. Yeah, because Duel Masters did very well. Digimon's structure, same shit.
So I'm looking forward. Like, it's not as big, like the card game itself, like
of course not.
The physical card game end is big. So I don't know if it'll be as big, but like for me, that'll be one of those games that I'll play without making content on it, which there's very few of those, just because I love it, and it gives me a way to actually play it without playing the same 3 decks that we have in my household against just my son. So yeah.
And that is such an important thing these days for fucking content creators, bro. Y'all have no idea how hard it is for us to selfishly play a game instead of just like getting down a rabbit hole of business, you know? So.
Yeah, I basically play nothing unless it's for content or with my son.
That's what I'm saying. It's so hard for us to do today. And it's like, so when a game comes out that you selfishly want to play, it's huge to actually commit to and do that shit.
Let's face it, knowing me, I'm going to make content on it anyway. When like, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm going to do it anyway. I've got enough channels. Like, I haven't done anything on the Pokemon channel for about 6 months now. I'll just slap it on there because it's a card game and see how it goes.
It's our brains cannot rationally play a game just for fucking fun anymore, bro.
Yeah, it's so bad.
You have to make content off of it. Anyways, we're at an hour, boys. If y'all were enjoying the pod, I had more topics, but I also have some shit to get done. Me and Volk actually both have deadlines, and then I got a stream I got to do because I was dumb enough to put a post out to say if this gets 1,500 likes, I'll do the story the next day, and it got 3,000 likes, so I got to go do that tonight.
Hey, next one of those, you say 5,000 likes, all right? So keep yourself a little bit safer. Yeah.
I actually thought on a post it would be harder to get that many likes in one day, but I underestimated my community. Anyways, Gacha Mates podcast has resumed. Me and Volk will try again. It'll probably be in another 6 months next time. We'll see what happens, boys. Anyways, I appreciate you guys always showing up, though, and always catching up with me and Volk. It means a lot to both of us. I know we don't say it all the time, but it's always awesome seeing how many people return, even though X amount of months went by.
Dude,
thank you so much. Love y'all.
This channel, I kid you not, I have not uploaded for probably 6 months to a year. I can't even remember, man. But we're gonna revitalize it.
Yeah, dude. If it gets 10K, I'm stoked. Because that just goes to show we got people that love us, man. That's awesome. But yeah, y'all take care, man, and cheers.